time, can you remember the drink that changed your perception as to what coffee can truly be? I can. It was a naturally processed Ethiopian heirloom from Amaro Gayo, and looking back, it was a wonderful combination as to how a processing method and an origin could combine together to create a beautiful cup profile. Recently though, I feel as if process-driven flavours have started to overpower those of the terroir, and though there is absolutely a place for these types of coffees in our industry, I feel that without the correct attention to detail, we will lose sight of the coffee, regardless of its origin or varietal. That's why I'm so incredibly excited to present to you today a coffee from Jameson Savage's Finca Deborah. Aptly named Terroir, this washed Panamanian geisha elegantly showcases its processing method with complexity and cleanliness, whilst excellently demonstrating its origin. Located at an altitude of 1,900 meters above sea level in the region of Volcan, temperatures at Finca Deborah can drop to as low as 10 degrees Celsius overnight. This extreme elevation and low temperature combine to slow the metabolism of the trees, pushing more sugars towards the cherries during production. This results in a cup with a high sweetness, and when hot, a medium to high citric acidity, cooling to a high malic and citric acidity. Only the most ripe and intact cherries are harvested and depulped using the latest water technology, leaving a small amount of mucilage around the parchment, and then placed into fermentation tanks for 24 hours. This short fermentation period allows for the origin to shine through, bringing a beautifully clean aftertaste. Any longer, and the risk of fermented flavours could come into the cup. After fermentation, the coffee is then washed with a minimal amount of water and placed on the second tier of a raised African drying, a 3-tier raised African drying bed, where it will be shade dried for 15 to 18 days until reaching a moisture content of 11%. Throughout this entire period, the coffee is turned constantly and checked for moisture, humidity, and temperature. This means that terroir is beautifully complex, wonderfully sweet, and wonderfully clean. To highlight these fantastic notes, we decided to approach the roast 11 days ago in 200-gram batches on a WPG1 Gießen sample roaster, hitting first crack at 6 minutes and 15 seconds and developing for a further 1 minute and 20 seconds, a DTR of 17.6% and an end temp of 186 degrees Celsius. This means in the cup you will find the following: aromas of peach, mandarin, jasmine, and vanilla. Flavors throughout of peach, mandarin, and jasmine. And cooling, you'll see notes of raspberry, crystallized honey, Darjeeling tea, and a long bergamot finish. I've decided to brew the terroir today using the V60 switch, as this will allow me to control the brew in 3 separate pours, switching from between both immersion and drip methods. Using a dose of 16.5 grams with a micron size of 900 and a water weight of 250 grams using 2 different waters, a ratio of 1 to 15.15, I will first pour 40 grams of 94 degrees Celsius, 94 ppm water over the ground coffee, leaving to bloom for 1 minute. After I've poured the water, I will swirl the brewer to ensure that all the grounds are saturated. This allows me to control the balance of sweetness and acidity within the cup. Any shorter in time, and the acids will be too strong and overpowering, causing a drying aftertaste. Any longer, too muted. Once the bloom has finished at 1 minute, I will then turn the brewer into an immersion brewer. pouring up to 225 grams of the same 94 degrees Celsius water. At this point, I am able to extract all those wonderful flavors, and I will leave the coffee to steep until 2 minutes. After which, I will swirl the brewer, causing a vortex, drawing all the coffee down for an even extraction. Drawdown time takes 45 seconds. And once completely drained, it is here that I will then use my final pour, using a 75 degrees Celsius, 28 ppm water. And this has two properties. The first being that it is able to take more positive flavors from the already extracted grounds, where a higher temperature and higher ppm water would over-extract the brew. The second being that it allows me to control the body of the coffee, acting as a bypass. When hot, you will find the body to be round and smooth and light to medium in its weight. Cooling, buttery. For a total brew time of 3 minutes and 20 seconds, a TDS of 1.36 and an extraction of 21.3. Terroir truly is one of the best coffees I've had the pleasure of brewing, and I cannot wait for you to taste. Judges, before I present you the carafe, I'm going to swirl it 3 times to release all those wonderful aromas for you to assess. And once done, I will then pour them into your cup to assess the flavour profile. Please enjoy. Thank you very much. Please enjoy. Thank you very much. Please, of course, enjoy. Ready? Fantastic. Enjoy. Please enjoy. Very much, please enjoy. Judges, it has been my absolute pleasure to present to you Jameson Savage's Terroir from UKBrC, and I leave you with the note that regardless of the origin or the processing method of the coffee we drink, I hope that both are able to shine through together. Time.